talking Israel, right? We're talking Hebrew. We're talking about the letter Tau. We're talking wisdom. Alma is the conqueror of all fortune. With her kings reign, according to Proverbs 4 and Proverbs 8. You know what I'm saying? With me, kings, by me, rulers rule, kings reign. You need wisdom to conquer your fortune. What's the Tau, right? So, okay. The Tau, follow the Tau. The Olmec Tau, follow the Tau. Follow the Tau. The Shia are at war with Genghis in there. Gotta get back on them Jin dynasties, man. We got some good drop on that Jin last time. And it's easy once you kind of figure out who's who and what's what to say, okay, if they was fighting with Genghis, then they're part of the more, or, you know, they're part of the Psalms 83 Confederacy, right? If they are fighting against Genghis, then they're most likely rocking with the Prester. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just by default, you could start coming to some of them, you know, suggestions, you know what I mean? And then you could recon from there and see, you know, just search it out even clearer, man. But so by 650s, right? We just talked about 700s in Kalalus in America. We're talking about Olmecs in them. We talking India Superior. They're gonna bring in Tibet, right? So I'm saying this Mongol flow with the Tibet flow, with the indigenous American flow, with the biblical history, is gonna blow your socks off, man. It's gonna mind blast you, man. It's gonna help you see that this whole time you're more important than even you thought you were still, and you knew you was important, but you're more important than that. You're more important than you thought you were. By the 650s, the Tanguts had left their homeland to escape pressure from the Tibetans and migrated eastward. Where's east? To what is now modern Shaanxi provinces, 584 to 585. Tawaba Ningzong led the first group of Tangus to submit to the Sui, S-U-I. 628, another group under the leadership of Zifeng Boulay surrendered to the Tang after the Tulahun, or the Han, were defeated in 635. The Tangus under Tawaba Shiki also surrendered. 340,000 Tangus were divided into 32 Jimmy, or Jimmy, Jime, an autonomous administrative political organization system used in China between the 7th century and 10th century. It should not to be confused with the tributary system. The term Jimmy was first seen. Interesting, man. Interesting. Prefectures under the control of Tangut chieftains appointed as prefects. Then you're going to see this Genghis flow creep up in here. I mean, they talk Dark Ages. You're going to have to fill that up with something, right? So you go searching and saying, why is it so dark, boss? It's a lot that went in to this more and more war for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay. So 17-year-old Chung Yong succeeded his father, Emperor Rezong of Western Xia, as emperor, posthumously Emperor Huzong of Western Liu or Western Xia. Little besides the rise of Temujin, right? Now we're talking that Genghis flow. And his conflict with Western Xia is known about the Huang Zong's reign. 1203, Togrul was defeated, which we got last time, was just talking about the Prester, the Wang Kang, and he was the blood brother of the Mongol chief Yesugui, who was the father of Genghis. So not blood brother like blood related, but blood brother like they had a blood oath to protect each other, like they were in battle, in war, sworn to protect each other. That's called a blood brother. You know what I mean? So he was supposed to protect Genghis's father. You know what I mean? And Genghis got close to him, obviously, like a son. But then he wanted everything. He turned on his, on this father figure, this uncle figure, this Unc Khan. He turned on the Prester because he wanted to be a David. So Genghis went to war. 1203, Togrul was defeated by Temujin. Togrul's son, Nilka Sengun, fled through Tangut territory. And although the Tanguts refused to provide him with refuge, he raided their territory. Genghis Khan used his pretext to raid Western Xia. The resulting attack in 1205, causing one local Tangut noble or Xia noble to defect to the Mongols, the plundering of several fortified settlements, and loss of livestock. 1206, Temujin was formally proclaimed Genghis Khan. So before that, he wasn't Genghis Khan until he took out Togrul Wang Kong, Prester John. This was the turning point. Wang Kong was the name given to Togrul by Gurkhan, led Jin dynasty of China. Wang means king or prince during the 13th century. Togrul was one of several Asian leaders. Where's Asia? Who was identified with the legend of Prester John, but also King Dawi. They say a brother to John. Man, stop it, man. There's no credible proof he was a Christian. I know, right? I know. That's crazy, right? So you telling me that as the story starts to unfold, right, as we start to see clearer and clearer, because we got that dragonfly perspective, we see clearly. Genghis Khan. See, no one really doubts, did Genghis Khan really live or not? Nah. He's just a crazy Mongol going around conquering everybody. A conquering Mongol. Let's talk about the Karkatai, right? Because the successor of Togrul was Kar, right? Q or K, Kar. Okay, back it up. This Prester John flow, which connects to the Fountain of Youth flow, which is the King Arthur flow, Camelot flow, but we're just talking Kalelu's promised land in America, code word Kalelus, but also King David. So I don't have to go far to connect King David to Prester John. It's all over the place. You could just find that. But who's searching for Togrul? How many niggas out there digging on Togrul? Come on. Understanding that that's Prester John. Understanding that that's King David. Understanding that that is who Genghis Khan is rolling up on. King David But which David? I don't think it was the Prester. You know what I'm saying? I think it was this David. If I was a gambling man after all these years. I think this is the David that went head up with Genghis Khan, son of Prester. And possibly he was defeated, possibly, he was, killed. You know what I'm saying? Murdered. Killed on the battlefield or killed by friendly fire. I don't know. Or not at all. Maybe he got away. But I don't think he went to war with the Raja Cholo II. I don't think so. Or, he did, but possibly this is the David that lost in that particular incident, that we keep hearing about. Told y'all it's the greatest story you never heard of, right? The greatest world war you never heard of. Tagru was defeated by Genghis. King David, or Exilarch David, son of Raja. Then it says Tagru's son, Nilka, or what they said before, Nilka Kara, fled through Tangut territory. Tangut territory, again, is in North America, or India Superior, also known as Tangut, right? Florida, Tangut. Florida, Tangut. Florida, Mexico, Tangut. Let's go. Okay. So Prester John's son fled through Tangut territory. And although the Tanguts refused to provide him with refuge and he raided their territory, Temujin used this as a pretext to raid Western Shia. So what was it about Nilka that he couldn't get the Tanguts to rock with him? Now, I never heard of this Nilka, right? So I don't know. I mean, did he, turn his back on his people or something? I mean, something happened, because normally you would think the Tanguts would be rocking with him. Raided their territory. Okay, well, there we go. Temujin used this as a pretext to raid Western Shia. The resulting attack in 1205 caused one local Tangut noble to defect to the Mongols, the plundering of several fortified settlements and livestock. All right, then 1206, Temujin, or Genghis, is proclaimed Genghis Khan. Now he got the Khan. Who did he take the Khan from? Wang Khan. Right, this is the Khan he took right here. Supplanted and took the same Khan. Stole that Khan. The Prester Khan. Ruler of all Mongols. That's the Khan of Khans, right? Because the Mongol means great ones. Marking the official start of the Mongol Empire. So the Mongol Empire, as we know it, did not officially start until the defeat of King David, Tagru. Until King David fell, the Prester, the Exilarch, till that happened, there was no official Mongol Empire. They know it today, which tells you a few things. That these great ones, Mongols, are not the same Mongols under the Prester. And this is what the more on more war is all about. And this is why it's all happening. It's all going up in the empire, American Empire. promised land empire of Kalelu. Bodies on bodies in Kalelus, Akis on Akis, the Amaru. I'm talking Sylvanus to Texas. Genealogy never connect this. Because out of this comes the Israel flow, right? Israel the third went to the Toltec lands of Mexico. Uh-oh. Sylvanus to Texas. Texas. Shout out to my Texas Nagas. His grandson Makir Amarik. Man, all you gotta do is put an A at the end. Come on, man. Stop playing. That's his name. All you gotta do is put an A at the end. They would say Vespu, Amerigo. No, man. Amarik. Amarik. Amaru. Amarik. Managa is Mexcoatl of the Toltec. These are Davidic Khans. Khans of David. Sylvanus Totaxis is the son of who? David. Solomon the Builder is the son of who? David. Amarik. All this flow are Davidic Khans. Grandfather Tapuzin, who is Israel the Seventh, Idwa, or prince or priest of Quetzalcoatl, who the Mormons call JC. This is their JC. Quetzalcoatl. That's the Mormon flow. But they're now worshiping Quetzalcoatl as a pal. Nah, man. This is Quetzalcoatl is a priest king. And his priest is Tapuzin, who is the grandfather or the grandson of Mixcoatl, Amarik, who America got his name. Who is the grandson of Israel the Third. Back to the swans and the swan boats and the swan knights. Let's go. Let's go. Back to the swans, right? The Night of the Swan. I mean, that might gotta be next. Right now we're focusing on Atlantis and the Moorish wizard who's riding on a wonderful winged horse. All right. All right. So Astolfo had long kept his steed with care, with secrecy, in his own castle among the mountain peaks, where the wild eagle soared, and the air was fresh and pure, and the busy hum of the laboring world was seldom heard. Sometimes, merely to amuse himself, the knight had mounted his winged courser and taken short flights into fairyland. What's that? Or soared aloft towards the sun. And he had often thought that when Charlemagne's wars were over, because we're just talking about Davidic kings in the time of Charlemagne. This is real history, my niggas. Come on. He had often thought that when Charlemagne's wars were over, he was no longer needed either at court or in the field. He would take a longer flight and not stop until he reached the farthest boundaries of the earth. So now he hastened back to his mountain castle, resolved to make use of the winged steed in his search for the lost hero. He's about to go to the farthest boundaries of the earth. At Astolfo's command, the wanderer's horse was led out of the marble halls where he had been stabled and accoutred for a flight longer than any he had ever taken. It was early morning, the sun was rising, dripping from the waters of the great Midland Sea. The crags and peaks shone like burnished silver against the dark blue sky. The crimson clouds turned golden and then melted away into nothingness. The mountain eagles flew down from the rock-built eyries and screamed around the hero and his steed. and then soared high toward heaven, and as if daring him to a loftier flight. Astolfo vaulted into the saddle. The noble steed spread his wings and leaped into the air. Upward and still upward he soared into the green fields of France, and the rugged mountains of the snow-crowned peaks dwindled almost out of sight. The screaming eagles were left far behind. The great sun seemed not much higher. Uh-oh, the sun ain't that high, boss. The whole earth was transformed into a scene of beauty such as the night had seldom dreamed of. Sweet France lay directly beneath them, spread out like a map, its rivers and mountains and forests and fields dimly outlined in the hazy distance. To his right was fair Spain, bounded on three sides by the sea and on the fourth by the great wall of Pyrenees. In front of him was the Midland Sea, stretching away and away as far as the eye could reach, until its shining waters seemed hidden under the sun. And there he saw vine-clad Italy basking in the morning light, and farther away lay the Isles of Greece, where the gods in the golden time taught men the sweet secrets of music and song. And the winged steed sailed onward toward the rising sun, faster than falcon or swifter bird that flies. Over the midland sea he flew, and over many strange countries, and amid many beautiful scenes he came to the land where grow the date and the palm. He soared above the shaggy tops of the Atlas Mountains and the great desert. The great desert. The great desert. Got me thinking about that map. My knock just dropped on a knocker, man. Huh? Whoa. Okay. We still talking Kateo or Cathay, Cambulak, right? Desert of the Indies. All right, keep all this in mind. Yeah. On these islands are the great Falcons for the mighty Lord and Emperor of Kateo, Cathay. And you got the King of the North. Okay. Like Game of Thrones, man. King of Delhi, he is a mighty sultan. His elephants number 700. His knights 100,000. A lot happening in the desert of the Indies. Alexander the Great founded these cities. We're going to get back on that Alexander drop because we connected that with the Prester flow as well. And of course, you got Asia and the Great Desert. The Great Desert. The mighty Tartar prince Magog is over here. His subjects eat no raw meat. In his realm did Alexander the Great see trees reaching the clouds. So his subjects eat no raw meat. All right. And Alexander the Great saw trees reaching the clouds, man. Like Mount Roraima used to be. And we're talking Tartar Prince back to the Grand Tartary flow. And Magog, which has a lot to do with the Prester flow. You know, in that medieval history, medieval empire of America, it talks about how Prester John held back, kept in check Gog and Magog, right? So, yeah, Prester has everything to do with the keeping and the boundaries of Gog and Magog. But what's this great desert about? What's the great desert about? And just remember, when we talk Catan or Cathay, just talking Joktan, who is the proper Arab, because a rabbi, right? A rabbi. This is but the legendary form of the tradition that Catan, because Joktan is Catan. And Catan, like Catan, is Cathay. And this promised land got everything to do with the Yucatan Joktan. Just keep that in mind. Catan is Joktan. We'll get back on Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and the cities of gold. Oh boy.